This is the UNOZERO Aventto, and in this box I actually have the black and gold edition. We're just going to do the unboxing and tech specs today. If you guys want to see a full playtest of the review, go over to the review of the white one. Let's jump into it. So the UNOZERO box is really unique, and from a graphic perspective, very, very cool. So you got the UNOZERO logo there on the top, UNOZERO here with the wording as well on the other long side, and then on the inside, you have a really, really nice graphic here that says honoring football greatness. You've got Beckenbauer and you've got Cruyff there. This is a World Cup match from probably the 80s, I would imagine. And just a very iconic photo, which is really, really cool. Now on the inside, you get a black bag, different from the white boots that come with a white bag. So a really nice touch, something a little bit more customized, which I really like as well, particularly from a pretty small company. Then of course you have the UNOZERO logo here with the pitch on there. And then actually, if you look on the inside of the boot, or inside of the box, it actually is the picture of each angle of the stadium. So it's like you have a pitch here with the stadium. You also get a little bit of leather cream on the back. It says application, clean dirt buildup and surface contaminants, apply small amount onto lint-free cloth, rub in circular motions until fully coated, dry and let cure for 24 hours, apply more coats if needed. So having leather food, excuse me, having leather food inside of a box with a pair of leather football boots is really, really nice. Just gives you that little bit of extra longevity and even helps with break-in because it softens up the leather a little bit, which is super cool. So there we go. Let's get the box, excuse me, out of the way and get into the unbagging of this pair of football boots. All right, here we go. Getting these unbagged. This is the first time I am seeing the black edition. Oh yeah. Okay, so very classic UNOZERO. This is a very, very classic looking UNOZERO boot with some modern twists. Very, very cool. Now, if you're new to the channel, you've never seen my videos before, and more importantly, you've never seen the other white UNOZERO Aventto review, I just wanted to make a quick disclaimer. So I was part of the prototype testing process for this. I worked very closely with the owner and designer of the football boots, helping him sort of curate a boot that's going to be much better for the market. That's part of my job outside of YouTube, is I actually work with brands. And I was part of that prototype, can't speak in this video, prototype testing phase, but I was not paid for this review. I'm not being paid for this review. He has no idea. The brand doesn't get to see this video before it releases. So you guys will get my full unadulterated opinion about what I think of the way it looks, which it's actually pretty simple, so there's not much to say. However, I do think there's some pretty cool tech in here. So let's jump into the tech specs of the UNOZERO Aventto. So Aventto is inspired by two words, avanti and vento, which translates, avanti translates to forward or ahead or let's go. Vento translates, or bento translates to wind. So wind being light, fast, can change directions, and is powerful. That's sort of the idea behind it. The leather feels very, very good. Now, in contrast to the white model, the leather on the black edition, or the black model, actually feels a little bit softer straight out of the box. That's probably just because this is a, I wouldn't say it's not a painted leather, but it's a, you know, any color that's not black is going to be treated. And even black leather, I believe, is treated as well. But it's just a little bit, it feels a little bit softer straight out of the box. But again, I wouldn't worry about that too much. These are going to soften up very, very nicely because they are a full Supra K leather. So Supra K leather is UNOZERO's sort of proprietary material, which is very cool. It's a very, very soft leather here, especially in this black model. Really, really nice. So the K leather actually goes all the way from this seam all the way forward. So you're going to get perfect kind of molding and everything through the midfoot and the forefoot of the boot, while still making sure that your heel area stays, excuse me, very secure with the GripSuede material. So GripSuede is their micro suede material from the top of the lacing system all the way back. So you see this black material back here. It's on both colors. Obviously, they're both identical, just a different color upper. And so GripSuede really is going to help with the lockdown of the boot. And then you also have GripSuede on the underside of the tongue. And if you guys didn't know, these are my usual size 9 US. This is a UK UK 8, Euro 42, and a Japan 26.5 centimeters. So very standard sizing for me in terms of what I usually go for. It's the same size that I wore in the Modelo 1.0, which is their more Morelia 2, Diodora Brazil kind of competitor. Maybe you could argue like Yatagarasu competitor. It's a much more like sort of classic looking football boot and feeling football boot. Not my favorite type of design. As I said in many of my videos, I usually go for something a little bit more modern if it is going to be a K leather upper. So that's something like this, an X-Fly 5 from Asics, Mizuno Morelia Neo 4. Usually I don't fit all that well in the beta version because of that knit tongue area, but you get the idea. So very, very nice having GripSuede in here, having this micro suede material, having the full K leather upper, and then of course their StructuraFrame, which is basically the name for kind of this midsole here, giving you a really, really nice and tight structure through the midfoot, and then you've got some decent flexibility through the forefoot as well. So good movement there through the forefoot, some good snap and support through the midfoot there as well, and then a sole plate and a stud pattern that I love. As soon as I saw this many months ago, I got really excited because this sole plate is absolutely awesome for what I am personally looking for. This is a biased statement, I understand, because this is what I look for in stud patterns, but this is the type of sole plate that I really like because X-Fly 5, X-Fly Pro 3, you name it, Morelia Neo series, like this is the type of vibe because it gives you good rotational pivot while also giving you, with that little extra chevron stud, a little bit of forward kind of momentum and movement, which is awesome. It's a sole plate that, you know, again, whether you put a Nike badge on it or an UNOZERO badge on it or an Adidas badge on it, it doesn't really matter, but this is the type of sole plate that I personally really, really enjoy, especially playing on sort of the little bit harder firm ground pitches here in Australia, which is really nice. You do have some nylon reinforcements on the underside of the leather. So most brands, especially on the underside, you see this in Mizuno products, you see this in Nike, New Balance, all that stuff. With any of their older leather products, they'll have like a nylon liner on the inside. And that's the same with this one. So just to add a little bit of structure, make sure it doesn't overstretch, and then also an extra piece kind of in this midfoot area for a little bit of extra lateral stability. They did add a couple really nice features that I sort of had my fingers all over, which were the extra lace loop, the extra little bit here, the, what do you call this? Yeah, I guess another lace loop here on the tongue area, and then having a tongue that sticks out a little bit more than a normal leather boot, but the profile, in my opinion, looks really good, and it's a very, very soft material, so you're not going to notice it all that much while playing. Stay tuned and go over to the review and playtest of the white model for more of my thoughts on that. In terms of heel counters, you have an external heel counter, which you can see there, or there, I guess, and then internal heel counter, which if I bend this material, there's that internal heel counter, which is nice. So you get good stability. It's very, very pliable up to about that point, and then it's pretty sturdy. So if you don't fit in this particular heel area, fair enough. I do think that most people are going to fit in this, given that it's got a pretty neutral shape. It's not as padded as the Asics type of boots or the Mizuno type of boots, but it's got a very neutral and natural shape to it. I've had zero issues during my playing with this model, and so I wouldn't think that most people would have issues, but if you don't fit in it, it's one of those boot, you know, not everything's going to fit you. So fair enough here. Very nice pair of football boots. I really like the black colorway, although I will say, I think I'd probably opt for the white ones. The black colorway, obviously an all murdered out pair, an all blackout pair, was the pair that I wore in a match scenario. So played with 1-0 in them, and they were super, super awesome. So, and they look really cool as well. Sort of cool to wear prototypes, as you can see on the feet of pros and stuff as well during their, even some of their Prem games and stuff, which is really cool. So the UNOZERO Aventto, excuse me. Very nice pair of football boots, much lighter than their other models. Definitely in competition with some of the best boots on the market. So the real question is this up to par with the big dogs, or is this a really good step forward for a very, very small brand that I think an influx or a injection of some futuristic tech in terms of sole plate, weight, shape, is a really good thing. I'll leave that one up to you guys. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you think of these. I think these are sweet. They're very simple looking, which I think a lot of you guys are really going to enjoy and love. And obviously the quality of this leather is fantastic. Being made in Italy, it's got that made in Italy vibe, and it smells amazing. So pick up a pair if you're interested, and yeah, very, very cool. Also, by the way, from a disclaimer perspective as well, any sales of the Aventto, I don't have any commission from them either. So just so you know. So whether you buy this or not, it's not a problem for me, but this is a product that I really believe in. I think it's cool, and it's a very, very nice, very, very nice and comfortable package. All right, guys, that is going to wrap up today's review and tech and unboxing of the UNOZERO Aventto. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.